errors from their part. Now I want to say though,
force the situation onto RRQ to answer the situation. I love the play at the top side, just like you said.
Yep.
They timed Harry's Purify. Okay, the Purify is not a weekend go in, and then Sylvana goes in.
Exactly.
And the thing is, we look at Alice as well from Rebo with the Enchanted Talisman as well as with the purple buff. Or yeah, he basically doesn't ever lose mana. He just goes in with the Blood Oath and he just stays in there for a very long time. And then Yuzong coming in with the Black Dragon form, and then later on with the Dragon Tail as well. It becomes very, very difficult for RRQ to really sustain. Yes, Whisking, we see he sustains super, super well with his Has Claw, with his Endless Battle Oracle, as well as the Blood Wings. But that is Whisking. That's not the same thing with Ling, Selena, as well as Harry from R7, Xin, as well as Vin, where we can see plenty of times they try to fight, where Ling, he has used every single skills, every single energy, but nothing happened. But right now, let's look at the MVP of the game, and it's going to go to Flap TZ on this Yuzong with match KD of 8, 4, and 6.
see Halbert picks up as well. Not only that, the most important thing that I want to take on about Flaptease and how he played this is he also understood that RQ Hoshi, they're timing based. Not only are they dependent on the Purify on Harith, but they are also dependent on the Tempest of Blades. The last 3 skirmishes that RRQ Hoshi lost, and those were the decisive ones, right?
Yeah.
Losing those 3 skirmishes really allowed Bren Sports to take the Lord and eventually take the game. Those last 3 skirmishes, they were able to force the Tempest of Blades. And this is because of the combination between Lusty, Flapteasy, and Few. The way that they were juggling and controlling their stuns, forcing the Tempest of Blades coming out from Sin. And that was definitely a terrible sin for RRQ Hoshi, unfortunately.
Yeah, and the thing is, we have seen RRQ won the first game, and now the second game, Bren has won it, and now it's a 1-1. We need 3 wins in total to make sure that we know who will be facing against Burmese Ghoul. And right now, Flapteasy, he shows that he wants to get that revenge onto Burmese Ghouls.
Really feels like it, man. But then again, this is these are 2 teams that are on top of the pack when it comes to just performing in the Mobile Legends action. Obviously, we would expect this to go the distance. I personally think that this will go 3-2, at least 3-1. And here we go. We are just starting the actual series.
Yeah, but either way, we have to go to a short break. Our players are getting ready. We will be going to the Discourse in a little bit. Here is Wolf. My name is LaFell. We'll be going to a break. Don't go anywhere. We will be back right after this.
Chivalry is dead. I will revive it. I've got a bullet with your name on it. Sir.
Download for free. Mobile Legends BangBang.
Killing spree! Mega kill! Unstoppable monster kill!
Whether you're from Indonesia or the Philippines, if you're watching this game, good on you. And if you know somebody who plays Mobile Legends BangBang but you're not watching the game, get your phone, send them a text, forward them the link to Facebook or YouTube and say, hey, you need to watch this game right now because we are neck and neck between RRQ Hoshi and Bren Esports. Welcome back to your M2 World Championships 2020, powered by Moonton, supported by the Singapore Tourism Board, hashtag Passion Made Possible. Skoga, who have been supporting esports careers and talents here in Singapore since 2008, our friends over at IMDA, and our partner brands, Secret Lab, Singtel, Tumi, SUTL, Cathay Cinema, MediaCorp, and of course our official gaming gear, Razer, who have the Razer Black Shark V2 still up for grabs. All you have to do, aside from pledging your allegiance to your favorite team on our comment section, leave a comment on why you should be the one walking away with the Razer Black Shark V2. Of course, my name is Joachim Gomez, not alone, joined by my co-host, Lasenda, as well as our panelists, Lafell and Wolf. My question is, have you caught your breaths yet?
No. No. It's essentially a best of three right now. Essentially a best of three. We're back to the lower bracket where we're so used to. Now, room for error, it's at the minimum. You know, it's at the minimum. You enough messing around. But the good thing is, they have proven that Bren Esports and their Lancelot is not invincible. It can be beaten, and it caused Bren to innovate, come up with something new, and now, well, they came back strong, so it's a 1-1. Philippines and Indonesia both have something to well, be happy about and sad about.
Yeah, definitely both of these teams, they want to change the score for a 2-1 in their favor, but I don't know. Like for me, I just wanted 2-me in my favor.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Here
We have not
we
had
go.
any of
Didn't get
that
the memo.
today.
Here we
I
go.
wasn't prepared for that.
Yeah, that's why it was good, right?
Oh yeah, sure.
Now, I really wish we were able to have audience here in the arena, but of course, given this whole pandemic, we're giving it to you in a whole different way. But the players over at RRQ Hoshi as well as Bren Esports, they are screaming, they are shouting. Emotion is high right now. And Wolf, earlier you did say you predict a 3-2 or a 3-1 finish.
Yeah, I'm sure because both of these teams they play like that, and I think that I will try to be careful with my words because I want to be caught in a bad context once again. Yeah,
Can't avoid that.
But yeah, the teams they have shown that they are giving some games to other teams, right? They are not perfect. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
because that's how they are. Even with Bren Esports, there was a meme back in MPL season 4, season 5, where they do this download game, quote unquote download game, wherein they usually lose their first game and then take the reverse sweep for those best of 3 group stage matches. This happened for about like 5 series in a row for Bren Esports.
Where I'm from, that's called extended BM.
Extended BM.
Extended BM's out. We'll let you have 1. We'll let you have 2. We'll take the other 3.
Well, not in a BM manner, but it's just that they
of
look
course.
like they are really studying their opponents. That is normally what happens with Bren Esports. And you know what? That's what also happened in their series yesterday. Their 2 series yesterday, losing game 1 and then taking the series after 2.
The coach joked with us and said it was for content. But speaking of content, the content is ready.
Exactly. So what's up for grabs right here is a chance to face Burmese Ghouls in the grand finals. We're going back to our casters, Gideon Q, Butters, Leo, as well as Contra, who will be calling all the action between RRQ Hoshi and Bren Esports. Casters, take it away.
Thanks for the introduction, Joakim. Oh man, these games are getting tighter and tighter by the day, and these teams are getting more and more adaptive as we've seen them kind of grow in their own right, figuring out more strategies that kind of suit them. And that's what I've noticed here. The strategies that suit their playstyle, that tells them their story, more than just focusing on what the meta has to offer.
What I'm liking so far is the fact that Bren can beat RRQ at their own game, at least in this version of the lineup. We haven't seen anything crazy from Lemon or Albert today just yet, but if it's this whole Wiz King and Sin, ultra aggressive, hyper fast style of RRQ Hoshi, then yeah, we're sitting at 1-1. Again, if it's a battle of going one up on each other, then so far it dictates that someone has to change the pace. Someone has to make a new move.
Yeah, speaking of making a new move here, I'm looking at RRQ Hoshi. They need to deconstruct this entirety of what Bren Esports have been pulling in, and I'm looking at the Yuzong right now. I think it should not be left available for Bren Esports at all, because this is kind of like the entirety of the backbone. Not only the frontliners out there, but he's the one doing a lot of damage. He's the one to be able to cut corners out there to just reach the backlines pretty easily and just get away with it.
Yeah, there's this thing that Ducky told me when we came out of quarantine.
Oh?
And they were screaming against RRQ. And it seems that RRQ didn't do well in those scrims. So that's probably the reason why they put Sin and Wiz King here. I think Albert and Lemon just didn't make sense for them at this best of 5.
I mean, honestly, yeah, I do think it's just something to keep note of, and I think more importantly, it felt like something exclusive. And what else is exclusive here are the M2 exclusives skins available now if you just log on to MLBB and complete the task and predict the champions to win those M2 coins and exchange those coins for M2 exclusive rewards, including the M2 special avatar border, the M2 battle emote, the M2 sacred statue, and most importantly, the M2 exclusive skin, Clint, the Shadow Omen, which can be gained directly for 899 diamonds. The event is happening right now till the 24th of January, so please, please, please grab it while you can.
There's some context to the discussion and the conversation that Butters had with Ducky. If that is indeed true, I mean, there's so many factors that could go into why it's Sin and Wiz King this time around. But if it was true, then definitely that's kudos to James. I mean, it's respect, right? That's respect.
would I bring anything? Would I bring any lies into this table?
Oh, no, not that it's lies. But, I'm sorry, Butters. Someone's very defensive here.
I
He's
don't
getting
know.
nervous. He's sweating a little bit like, wait, what are you talking about? Did he say you look good today, Leo?
I only bring facts.
Yeah.
Brings facts. I guess
No,
you are looking good today, Leo.
I did say that it could be an element of surprise. There are many factors, right? Many factors here. But what I want to highlight is the respect. And right now, Bren Sports, they have stayed blue. That means RRQ Hoshi says red. We want this chance to go double picks, and that's how they want to react to this and again win this race.
Yeah, and I think, in terms of this race, being able to kind of dictate the pace of the game, RRQ Hoshi deciding to go onto the red side, something a little bit more familiar, something that we've seen them actually adapt with against the Burmese Ghouls itself. We saw a couple of really good drafts and slowly pulling back to what they're usually used to, as I said before. But Contra, where do you think this is leading?
Well, it's definitely leading towards what they want to open up for the side of Bren Esports once again. I think that we are going to be seeing the different sort of the phase coming from the side of RRQ Hoshi on what they want to pick up coming in towards that double things that they can go for in the initial phase. And with that, Esmeralda being banned away, the question now is what I mentioned, the Yuzong. Is it going to land on RRQ Hoshi's side?
Ooh, maybe, I don't know, because they still have those third bans, and those third bans generally kind of tell you is like what is the priority for either one of these teams, right?
Yeah, Bren Esports. Yeah, they're a team that could probably just focus on the tank as much, but RRQ Hoshi, I think they like the Lapu-Lapu more than the Yuzhong. Like, you would see them pick the Yuzhong, but it could be on the second phase. They like the Lapu-Lapu more.
I mean, Lapu-Lapu, I don't know, like looking at the stats of whether or not Lapu-Lapu or Yuzhong, we've seen the impact of Yuzhong more occur more, and honestly Lapu-Lapu and Yuzhong have a pretty decent win rate overall, but
Very much so.
coming up for this last ban for RRQ Hoshi here, do you think that is going to be the go-to, or are we not going to see Sylvana here?
I think they have to respect more Yuzhong's flat easy. Yep. Oh, but instead, they both play with fire and they're opening up the side lanes and the tanks. So yeah, Lapu-Lapu, Yuzhong, they're all still on the table. The tanks, Jawhead, Cho, still on the table.
Yeah.
And even the mages are relatively open too. Like, none of them were touched.
Yeah, I want to look at the mages here because the first game, RRQ Hoshi did pick up the Matilda, which is pretty much out in the open. I think that definitely having somebody who can just dish out quite a chunk of damage in the early game can actually put Bren Esports slightly behind, finally chasing in with all these small little leads. So Bren Esports having a difficulty here selecting their first hero. In about 5 seconds from now, we're going to be seeing how they will be dealing with this, and they will go in to take that Matilda before anything else.
I think this is a smart option here. It kind of just leaves the draft pretty open for their sides for counter picks onto RRQ's part. But RRQ, they see this, and now they have to take advantage with the 2 picks and the benefits of being on that red side. It looks like they've locked in the Yuzhong. It has been working out extremely well for their team. The question is, Selena, Jawhead, we've seen them both kind of interchange between them within the first rotation.
Wow, this is actually a shift in terms of the pacing that RRQ Hoshi wants to go for. They go straight for 2 team fight heroes here on the first phase. Well, for Bren Esports, they have a lot of choices to go for. They can go for a Cho. They can go for what?
I mean,
a Jawhead.
I wouldn't be
Selena?
too surprised.
Not really Selena because they have the Matilda already.
Yeah. But I mean, I wouldn't be too surprised if they decided to get the Cho in this situation, and arguably even an Alice as well.
So far, Cho has been trusty for Lusty, and I think they should, again, always focus on the mid lane. So far, first pick was on point. I think before the round goes back, there has to be some answer, and this could be a flex Baksha. Could go on Lusty, could go on Flapteasy from the side lanes again to just really call the regeneration on this Yuzhong, and as well Lancelot, which, you know, as great as Bren Esports' Kaltizi was on the Lancelot across of M2, not just the games that he lost. He actually scored the very first Savage of the whole entire tournament with this. It's still 2 out of 3 in the first phase that they answer.
Yeah, and just looking at these boxes here, it just gives a little bit of flashback of PTSD to some of those players that were actually facing off against that Bren Esports side yesterday, because this Baxa is so potent to just, get in the face of whether or not you have a show, it doesn't even matter.
Yeah, game-winning Baksha against Alter Ego yesterday, but yeah, RRQ Hoshi, each pick so far have been denial picks. They didn't need to ban them because they were planning to pick them up anyways.
Yeah. Remember, the first 2 picks here for the side of RRQ Hoshi, they rely so much on the lifesteal or the spell vamp that they have. So that means if you go and try to take their regeneration a bit down, tone it down a bit, that is gonna hurt their tanking capability in the long run. So this Baksha and Lancelot is just so good for the side of Bren Esports.
I mean, I think it's pretty great, especially when it comes to just the denial of health regeneration overall, especially when it comes to both Sylvana as well as the Yuzong, both pretty dependent on it. Both can abuse the Oracle. Both will look to get the Bloodlust Axe and the Concentrated Energy respectively. But Bren now banning out the Ling, forcing the question onto RRQ. How exactly are they going to get something that scales in towards the late game, especially when you have someone like Carl Teasy? He's got the Lancelot already.
Bren Esports, when they go for these kinds of Lancelot lineups, they don't necessarily try to go for a marksman side lane. But if it's a possibility and if they are forced, Rebo can use a 1-1.
I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it. Now, going into the second phase of picking, that was the Roger locked out. Oh, they're going to steal away the 1-1. RRQ Hoshi, read your mind, Butters. 1-1 here for the side lane. Might be Wiz King, might be R7, now Bren Esports. They're closing this up, and without wasting any time. Hold up! Double assassin! Side lane Hayabusa!
Can I also call it like triple assassin in such a way, like Selena looking...
Quadruple, technically. If you're looking at the game's descriptions, yeah, Matilda and Selena. Interesting. That's a lot of pickup potential.
So, they don't have a tank per se that's gonna roam early. Stay into the side lane.
All right, this is getting even more interesting.
All right.
We're finally seeing the Hellcurt coming into the picture, and this is actually magnificent.
Bren Esports has a good draft, but RRQ Hoshi with just 1 pick. They just give a lot of... They just, try to shut down. They tried to shut down Bren Esports draft as much as possible. They needed to find a pick. They picked the Hellcurt, and that answers a lot on Bren Esports side.
I think this is some interesting adaptations. I don't necessarily believe it is going to work. I'm kind of 50-50 on the Hellcurt pick here. I do see that it is great in some situations, but when you have Matilda, and especially with the Circling Eagle, you can almost guarantee a lockdown in these in a lot of these points, and it's going to be who initiates first and who is going to be able to get their opponent preemptively. And that's going to be the name of the game. Who makes the first move?
I'm not even thinking about the farming situation. Like, how much gold do you need? And at what point will you say, okay, we're ready for these fights between these two teams that require so much across all their core heroes?
Oh, I don't know, but at least I don't have to think about it for now. You boys, you're going to have to take this one because this is too big for me to handle.
Okay, now... talking about ideation coming from the side of James, right? RRQ Hoshi, what's great about the Hellcurt heading in towards the late game is not only diving in towards the backline, getting that catch, it's also about that split push. Like, he just gets so much movement speed when he pops in that Dark Knight Falls. Just get across the map. Like, who's going to be able to catch him when you can't even see your enemy?
I agree, because seeing that 1-1 really likes the 1v1 duels as well. You can deny the vision of the 1-1 and just try to go for the duels on her side.
Yep, Lusty almost getting taken down there. I kind of get it. This is a roaming Matilda. It's going to be a Matilda that provides shields and relies on mobility to kind of weave in and out of combat like a tank. Natalia, as you know. Hold up, Psycho uses the Cyclone Eye with just enough time. A defensive arrow here by a few. Real quick, let's rehash or remind people what lanings look like. It's going to be an XP lane Hayabusa. Ooh, Psycho, a little frisky, wanting to get in on Rebo's face. And then the XP lane is going to be, the gold lane is going to be the Baksha, facing off against the 1-1. an interesting matchup. But Flappy's able to bully WizKing nonetheless.
Yeah, of course, he's going to be soaking a little bit of the poke, and he's got to be careful with the missile arrow coming in as well, because WizKing, if he just gets caught out, okay.
Purify is safe. You got that cleanse.
Wait a minute. Yeah, she's taking the A.
Yeah, well, he does have the innate cleanse in his kit. So RRQ hits Vin. Vin here might go down.
Oh, Dark Knight falls. That's going to be some darkness raining down onto Bren Esports, and they get the first blood. What a bait right there by Vin. No trades here by Bren Esports.
Yeah, and this is definitely going to be a little bit troublesome for the likes of Bren Esports eventually when they are trying to go in for those silver picks, which is what they are looking to set up, right? And here comes R7 already using the Black Dragon, crossing out towards TZ as well as Lusty. Not going to be making much use out of this. As you can see, their health bars is still pretty much way up high, but the Hayabusa now moves over on towards the other side lane, and it's going to be having a lot of great pushes.
What a mirrored swap there by Bren Esports and RRQ. Now this fight in mid, near the turtle breaks out. Oh, the turtle at about 1/5 of health. That's going to be stolen here by Kaltizi, and that's Lusty taken down here by R7. They're going to have to back out. Even Kaltizi doesn't want any part of this, as Few gets caught in the middle of 3 members of RRQ. 3 for 9 is the final tally here, the body count for RRQ Hoshi.
The better trade went over the side of RRQ.
This is to be expected because Rebo won't be part of any fights. But as long as they can keep Psycho at bay, do not get caught in the way of the Dragons, that is going to be fine for Bren Esports. RRQ Hoshi, they're doing a great job as well. They're contesting, they're getting the kills, the pickoffs. And now what's left is they should go for the turrets.
I think this is actually RQ's plan, right? Like, you really want the attention to be on Psycho as well as Vin instead of Sin or even R7 in that sort of sense. WizKing kind of can self-sustain, especially when he does have the crossbow of Tang. So that's what they're hoping to pick up.
Oh, no, an arrow here saves Lusty, and a nice takedown by Kaltizi onto Sin, and the unthinkable has happened. We were talking about how it should have been Psycho, it should have been Vin, but yeah, they caught out Sin at the very right moment. Real quick note, ladies and gentlemen, Avarice onto that Sylvana. Nice way of the dragon here, catching Lusty. He survives. That's going to be the Thorn Rose pushing away Psycho and the gang.
That is the prowess of a Selena. Just throw out the arrow. If you hit the Hellcurt has no Purify. That is going to be Lance taking him down. And that is a lot of time. And this is the thing about Hellcurt that I didn't really like. But Vin!
What? Tortoise Poissons underneath the turret allows him to go deep, way too deep, and there you go. R7 can't even regenerate despite having full Sha essence. And off camera, by the way, that was a kill by Rebo.
Those are the situations.
Sin.
But they're not done yet.
Butters, let Lusty finish. He's chasing down Sin. That's going to be the Cyclone Eye going through the wall underneath the turret, the safety of his side of the map. So far, Butters, Lusty says, okay, you can speak.
These are the things
after you
Baksha does. Like the dives that Bren Esports are doing now, it won't be possible without him.
Yeah, and those sort of catches were magnificent for Bren Esports because now they do have a little bit of activation, especially on Kaltizi. This is their key towards those game-winning trades, and just look at the amount of damage that Kaltizi can soak. He was under the turret. It didn't mean much as he pops out the turret Poissons, and the other members of Bren Esports could easily go in to burst down the Hellcurt whenever he just appears on the wrong moment. And here comes Lusty pushing them back.
Oh no, that's going to be Dark Knight Falls, but it was just a little too late. There was no setup, no follow through. Lusty gets blasted down by R7. A trade for the support and your core at Bren Esports going off with a lottery.
Yeah. Just looking at how this sort of the jungler assassin meta is going, right? Of course, you have the tier 1 picks coming in from the side of Bren Esports, and oh boy.
Psycho here gets popped into the Poissons underneath it. This hurts, this hurts. That's Vin taken down by Kaltizi as they steal away the turtle. The purple, that is, and the turret. You see, I get the words mixed up, but nonetheless, I'm liking what Bren Esports is bringing.
Rebo, That is, will the crossbow of Tang be thrown
It
out?
has been.
Will be.
That's whisking in the air. Pachow, pachow. That's Rebo taken down.
That's the sound of a bird with a gun.
Bird
That's what
with
he-
a
that's
gun.
That's what whisking
alright,
was.
I'm pretty sure nobody wants to mess with a bird with a gun, but
We'll allow it. We'll allow it.
yeah, what's big news right here? You know, like other than guns, what is pretty much lethal? Blades, and who's got the sharper blades right now? It's called Easy.
Oh, yeah.
Already having that blade of the Heptaseas being
Oh,
bought
yeah.
out. Sin really struggling to find his footing in this entirety of the match. Like, oh, you got the Hayabusa, you got the Selena to deal with. After you get past that Boxer, it's honestly tough for him to choose from.
Oh, Vindo jumping in with the Imperial Justice and R7 coming in with the Black Dragon form. Few gonna use a Cyclone Eye, get out of here.
Whiz
Oh,
King!
from the back, Whiz King gets skewered by Carl TZ. The other TZ brother takes down Psycho, and right now the stickers come up. The fallen brothers of RRQ Hoshi. They have no choice but to accept this conversion from Bren Esports as they push.
This off-lane Baksha is just making waves. Whereas at Bren Esports, he's controlling so much of this RRQ aggression.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just look at it from the drafting phase itself to say, okay, you can have the use on all you want, but remember this, I'm going to be activating what we can, and now we do have a little bit of a look at the itemization as the turret falls in favor of the side of Bren Esports, now pressing onwards Sin as he is being forced a little bit backwards.
Rebo is almost with endless battle. Sin is just getting the Legion swords and probably a Blade of Despair in just a bit. But Carl does have the item advantage with the Heptaseas.
Yep, and he's sitting at 5-0-3. This is the best we've seen Carl TZ today. This Lancelot is cleaner than the Claude he brought out. Now here is a in-game pause, real quick, a breather for everyone watching, and as well the players and us here at the caster's desk. All right, I think Gideon has been paying attention. Man, how's the fight feeling so far?
Okay, I need to ask about this Lancelot here because we've seen it on multiple different teams. We've seen it work and we've seen it not work. What's the difference between them and specifically Call TZ for pulling it off? Because we've seen them actually knock down Alter Ego with this exact same pick. And to me, the mechanics seem solid for both sides, but I feel like it's not just Call TZ who's making this work here. There is an outside factor.
It's definitely going to be the Boxer. You just look at him, he's all over the map, he's always protecting his teammates everywhere he goes, and it's so easy for them to just move in and out, having so much mobility. I think he definitely plays a big factor in this match.
The thing is, the difference between Carl TZ Lancelot and other Lancelot is the confidence. It's his confidence level to just go in and out of fight. Carl TZ is one of those players that really just want to push for kills.
Okay,
And
okay.
if there is ever one hero that enables him to do that, it's going to be the Lancelot. With the Puncture, Thorn Rose, Phantom Execution, there are a lot of dashes to bail him in and to bail him out if he ever needs help, or he can just go for the Savage like he did to send 10-second Frost Gaming.
We're talking about the optimal form of Carl TZ here, right?
Right.
And I think there are layers to this question. We'll get to it later, because right now we're back into the battle. This is going to be 8 minutes, 20 seconds in, and yeah, look at this. Flap TZ can just walk into the side of the jungle for RRQ Hoshi towards the orange here, pushing them out. Vin uses the Imperial Justice as a defense mechanism. Wave the Dragon onto this Baksha. Flap TZ, not even blinking, not even sweating at all. He's like, yeah, that's fine, it happens. I'm out.
Look at Psycho even catching that arrow so
he's
that
like,
Vin doesn't go down.
I'm like, yeah, let me block it. Now a push up top, and even in mid there's a huge wave crashing in. Oh wow, 6-0. Contra 6-0.
Yeah, and just look at them. They invest so many effort onto Flap TZ, and all of that is actually going to waste. How are you supposed to actually burst down the Baxian? There's no apparent answer to that. Sin, you don't even want to get to that sort of question even. So it's really tough to ignore the Baxia and go for the rest with him just really pummeling them from getting anywhere backwards or forward. Now, it's simply Psycho there, wait on the Dragon, and This might just be a big fight for Bren Esports.
Ooh.
Pulling it off.
Yo. The mere presence of Flapteasy scares the rest of RRQ Hoshi, and this is prime rotations. Butters, do you agree with me? This is all leading up towards his first Lord take.
Yes, it could be, but I think for them, they just want to go for the kills. They want to take the turrets right now so that RQ Hoshi will be forced back to stay in their base. Now, if you would look at the items here for RQ Hoshi, Psycho and Vin picked up an Antique Kiras, so that only means that they're having a hard time dealing with the damage of Karltizi, and they even have Flapteasy on their throat as well.
Doesn't help. Right now, Psycho goes in. Less than half health. RRQ's R7 coming in. Sin gets blasted by Karltizi. It's looking grim. Oh, they trade out. They finally get rid of this menace that is Flapteasy. It's a trade 1-for-1 so far. And in goes the circling eagle. Gets knocked up. Lusty. Whisking trying to look for a nice angle. Karltizi still to fall. He's got like few. Takes out R7. It's down to 2. Imperial Justice catches none. Oh, from the back line. Vin gets blasted by Karltizi. Oh, and Rebo! Rebo misses by one shuriken. It's gonna be 3-4-1 while Whisking says, let me just clear this wave and get the hell out.
Does it even matter if you catch that Baxia? Like, you just saw Sin just exploded right there. He tries to get a catch, but you'll get Whisking right now. This is not the fight you should even take or even ponder upon. And Bren Esports, well, they're laughing their way to the bank.
Oh!
I mean, I love the Hellcurt pick just because of the utility it brings.
Yeah.
But Bren Esports, every time Sin goes in, that rhymes by the way.
6 out of 10.
Okay, getting there. Now, Sin going in, he is gonna try and pick up someone, but every Bren Esports member just turns to him.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Again, as nice as the kit is, again, you see the intent. But where's the execution? And right now, it's not on the side of RRQ Hoshi. Bren Esports is ahead by about 9,000 gold here.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the charts. I'm definitely thinking that Bren Esports now overpowering in terms of damage. There's no way that, call in all the defense all you want. It's just that there's just a no-go zone for Sin, and you don't even want to invest Whisking all the way up into the front line, right?
No-go zone. Anywhere that Lusty's circling is a no-go zone, all right? You got cops like Flapteasy saying, sir, this is area's cordoned off. If you come in here, it's not going to be good for you. Now there's the Dark Knight falls from the back. Sin once more, the first casualty, and Lord still stands. That's going to be the Poissons here popped by Flapteasy from the back. Finn gets destroyed by the Ogi Shadow Kill, and Rebo ain't done. The Doctor takes out Psycho as well, and R7 right in the middle of 4 members of Bren Esports. Make that 5, that's all of them, ladies and gentlemen. They're going to go for the push. It's just Whisking left to defend. Is it enough? The answer is no. Another shadow kill by the good Doctor. Ladies and gentlemen, Bren Esports with the classic recall in front of your base as they take game number 3.
Now, if you think that the TP is annoying, the shouts that came out that really just tried to scare Bren Esports, that those were the things that were happening. It's a mind battle here on the battlefield, and Bren Esports, the recalls was just an answer to that pressure. Like, shout as much as you want, but you will never ever get into our game.
Honestly, I have to admit, this has been an absolutely phenomenal game to watch here from both of these teams, and even with the shouts here, and especially after yesterday's game, I think, it's a little bit of a primer. Like, Alter Ego was a primer for Bren, so that these shouts doesn't even phase them. But we have to kind of talk about the big issue here. We've seen Baxia really put a full stop to a lot of compositions, almost similar to the Diggy here. Hellcurt could not do anything about him when he is on top of him. Hayabusa even making it even easier when the team can't regenerate.
Exactly. This is making it essentially a 4 versus 5 every single time. And on top of that, they're making RQ, the King of Kings, look like just a mere peasant in that sort of sense. And after all, they are mortal.
Strong words. Strong words, sir. Now,
the imagery.
The imagery. But yeah, I agree. I cannot agree more, because Sin is put in a very good spot in the draft. I mean, Hellcurt is not the best pick, but because of all the utility that Bren Esports has, he has all the capabilities to counter that. But if you go in without thinking about the control that they have as well, you will have a hard time.
Well, with that being said, we just got word that the analysts are ready. So let's throw it over to them. Wolf and LaFell, please explain.
Thank you very much, casters. Speaking of casters, I think a lot of things will be clipped.
Yeah.
Contra says something very interesting, and our table has also talked about a bird with a gun. It's very interesting.
It's very graphic to me, man.
Anyways, my name is LaFell, and this is Wolf. We will be your analyst for this game. And the thing is, Wolf, I have to say, from the side of RRQ as well as Bren, both of these teams actually took a very risky composition in their draft, where Bren, technically, they have 4 assassins, and RRQ, they take the Helker, even though Helker is, you know, in the logical sense, he has burst, he has the silence. However, as we see, every time he goes in, he dies. So both of those compositions have very strict win conditions.
You know what's a very cool thing about our jobs? Ever since the group stages, when we are going for our analysis, every single game, I'm not telling you, the teams go in front of us. And when we were trying to explain what happened, what went wrong and what went right, they just gave us a death stare.
Yeah, like what were we saying, like why they lose, and then the players are just like, yeah,
right. So
yeah,
and it's worse when the coaches come in. It's like,
yeah,
the team went playing this badly, then the coaches comes in. And then...
Anyways, they just walk by. So right now, let's talk about the draft. Let's start with Hellkit. Yeah. Hellkit, why is he so risky?
I think that it is more. I would say there are risks that are like high risk, high reward kind of decisions. This Hellkit is low reward, high risk only.
Yeah,
I would say.
Yeah, I would agree, because we saw the Cho, we saw the Savannah, both of these heroes, they can catch someone out of position, and then the Hellkit could theoretically come in and burst them down. And we look at a lineup from Bren, 4 assassins, all of them are pretty squishy except for the Baxia. I like the Baxia in the experience lane just because Mundon has been trying to get the tanks in the experience lane, giving more options for more compositions. And the thing is, for Bren, we talked about Hellkit. Right now, let's talk about Bren's lineup. 4 assassins, if they lost the laning phase, I think that it will be a very bad game for them.
That's what's very interesting, because I think this is volatile for both teams. I think that it is so... The draft is just so funky that both teams cannot lose their early stages of the game. The Hellkit as well as the Lancelot, they have the same win conditions. It's just that the Lancelot can achieve that much better and much easier compared to the Hellkit. After all the nerfs onto Hellkit, it is just not gonna work. Many times in this particular match, Bren Esports were able to just bait out Sin, and when he jumps in, everybody just goes towards that part, and even hiding in the bushes. That happens so many times. And RRQ Hoshi, I knew from the get-go that when they lose their early stages, they cannot recover anymore.
Right now, the stat that I would like everyone to look at is actually the damage. Arkeoshi did more damage than Bren Esports, but let me make you understand why that is. The only person from Bren Esports that can take damage is the Baxia. We can see Flap Easy always going to the front, making sure that he takes all the brunt of the damage coming from the 1-1, from the Yuzong, from the Sylvana even. And once everyone has basically used their skills, that is when the assassin goes in. When Flap Easy gives the information, there's no this, there's no that, all the line is clear. Clear. Come on, even get into it. But anyways, the line is clear. You can come in and then you can do whatever you want. And as we can see, Selena goes in, Lancelot goes in, Matilda goes in, Hayabusa goes in. It is a very risky draft, but this is one of those situations, high risk, high reward. You win your lane, you win the mid game, you will snowball so hard they will have no idea what to do.
You know what? This is not only a risk that Bren Esports took just because of their lineup, but you also have to take note of the entire draft, including the bans. The Bren Esports, they banned out Ling and Roger in the second phase, and in the first phase it was the Yi Sin Shin. Then they took the Lancelot. Now, if you're looking just at the pool of heroes that can be played, they really took everything out, and I love the fact that they picked up Hayabusa.
Yep, and right now this is the MVP, Carl TZ with the Lancelot. Come on, when this guy has the Lancelot, I don't think anyone would deny that he deserves the MVP position. 908 itemization, full-on damage, and again, I like the point that you pointed out. Ban those certain carries, making it very, very difficult for RRQ to really answer until they were forced on the Helker pick.
There will come a time where in this best of 5, and maybe come game number 4, RRQ Hoshi will just straight up pick up a carry in the early stage, the first phase. Because, you know what, Lancelot is one of the heroes that Bren Esports really have mastered. And for the side of RRQ Hoshi, they were all of the choices that were taken out from them. I really love the fact that they picked up the Hayabusa in that 4th slot, because they kind of forced 1-1 to be picked by the side of RRQ Hoshi, and that really put them in a bad spot wherein, oh my goodness, we need to draft a Retribution carrier.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like James, after seeing that game, he has a lot to think about. The 1-1, even though Whisking is very good on the 1-1, but we look at the itemization, he only had the Corrosion Scythe as well as the Demon Hunter Sword. On the way is the Golden Staff, but there was not enough time.
Yep.
All of those assassins, they play very, very fast. A lot of dashes, a lot of bursts, and the moment he wants to go in, he wants to get those weakness stacks, but when he dies first, those weakness stats mean nothing, and then he still cannot use the Crossbow of Tang.
You know, there's a lore for Bren Esports back in MPL Season 4 and Season 5. I think that I also shared it during the panel. The download game, is it actually happening right now? Because that is, I mean, it is what happened during the first 2 series that they won here in the lower bracket, and it is kind of happening now. Are they gonna take game number 4? That's a question. I had also a chance to talk to the 6th and 7th members of Bren Esports, and they kind of told me that the entirety of Bren Esports squad just didn't really had their coffee.
That's
probably why they lost game number 1.
I mean, it makes sense. It makes sense.
They kind of slept around 3 a.m., which is not that healthy, and they're quite sleepy. They're doing the total thing where is that about just giving out excuses and reasons?
No. It's like, oh yeah, we didn't have enough sleep. But anyways, this, like, if what you're saying is true, then I think not just the Philippine fans, not just this game, and if what you're saying is true, that Bren, with more games, they get better, it's gonna be very, very scary in the best of 7. Our 3rd game, we're going straight to the 4th game. Casters, so casters, please take.
And away we shall go. Thank you. You guys are watching the best of 5 between Bren Esports and RRQ Hoshi. So much laying on the line. Before we move on, we would first like to thank Tumi, our partner in esports for M2, as the journey to become the champion of M2 has been perfected with the latest Tumi luggage and backpack. You can bring your gear anywhere with you safely without worry. Be sure to check out Tumi.com to perfect your own journey and enjoy the M2 competition.
Now, I know a lot of fans out there are worried about the players, especially in a time like this. Trying times indeed, but don't worry. To keep our players safe and protected, the event venue has been coated with SD Pro, an antimicrobial self-disinfecting coating that eliminates bacteria and viruses 24/7 for 180 days. To find out more about this, check out the SDST.com if you want to know more about the SUTL Envirotech and what they offer.
And in case you don't know, you can catch us live streaming this event. It's a mega event. This is Mobile Legends BangBang M2 World Championship 2020, held in Singapore for free on MeWatch. It ran from the 18th up until today. So if you want to go switch over to MeWatch, go ahead. It's a total of 12 teams, 9 countries competing for a grand total of $300,000 US. Once more, you've got 2 more matches, and we're about to wrap this one up. If one of these teams don't switch it up, then it might end right here, right now. Once more from the caster's desk, my name is Leo, joined here by Contra, Gideon Q, and Butters. And Bren Esports is threatening the sweep. Butters, what are the chances?
If the download game is true, then I'd say that this is 60-40 going to the side of Bren Esports.
They got momentum.
That's the only thing that's working for them. I think these 2 teams are equal in terms of the mechanics, in terms of the strategies that they put in. What gives Bren Esports that certain edge is certainly the momentum and the fact that the pressure is.
Yeah, and definitely talking about these sort of points, right? Like, you can't exactly blame the side of RRQ Hoshi for doing a little bit poorly in that previous match itself. Like, they went down towards the rabbit hole and it's like, okay, a lot of all these assassins that were great is already being snatched away by the likes of Bren Esports, right? They went towards the Hellcat where you can actually choose to really fully commit and die with that cause or get away with nothing, and most of the cases they really got none. But moving in towards the track, right? Now, Bren Esports needing only one more game to advance to the grand finals. They are shown that they are not only good at those assassin junglers, they are also very great when they pull in the marksman like the Claw.
No, I think I totally agree with that statement here, but oh my goodness, it's really a brawl. Every single time these players battle, it just gets more hot and heated every single time.
The sun is still up, but it's feeling like a battle night. Log in on the 30th of January to get yourself a free permanent skin, but also you will be happy to know that we are announcing the launch of the new anniversary season of Magic Chess, Blazing Hammer. The new adventure will officially begin on the 30th of January. Once more, there's a new upgrading system called Blessing, new little commander, a map, and of course, all new synergies will be revamped, and there will be free trials for advanced skins waiting for you. Once more, this is Battle Night. Log in on the 30th of January. Less than a minute left in this draft. Again, game number 4 could be the fall of an empire, a kingdom. The King of Kings may be forced to bow here. Gideon, I'm wondering, man, what changes do RRQ have to make?
I think they have to get back into their comfort picks here. I think they really need to start thinking about putting Sin on towards a marksman where you've seen him perform well in game 1 itself, and I don't think he's going to get that Claude again. However, they're going to have to start opening the field. Somebody on the side of RRQ is going to have to bite the bullet for the greater good.
All right, I thought somebody was going to have to stop him, but Butters, your thoughts, you seem so deep in thought right now. You're contemplating. What's going on?
He's in the Matrix.
This is so hard.
Zeros and ones.
This is so hard for the side of RRQ.
You feel it.
They brought in Sin and Wiz King for the stability of the lineup, the player lineup. They just wanted to be aggressive into the early game, but right now it certainly feels like it's biting them back.
Yeah, and I'm glad that you mentioned the Matrix because it's between the red pill and the blue pill right now. Like, do you go with what everybody has been doing exactly the same, go for something very standard and somehow works, or you go out of the way in towards the road not taken, and Bren Esports shows that they can do both and still really get closer and closer towards the grand finals. Now, back in towards the draft, right? Seems like there's a lot of assassins being taken out from the early phase.
Yep, given how many assassins showed up in game number 3, they're like, hold up, let's pull the brakes on this, because when things get crazy, it has been proven that Bren Esports is the one who has the upper hand right now. Benedetta, the last ban for Bren Esports, alongside Natalia and Yu Sun Shin. RRQ Hoshi, they take out the Brody, as you always should, as well as Fuse Selena. Gideon, what are we looking to here? What's the last ban for RRQ Hoshi so that Bren has a tough time getting their first pick?
This is a really tough one here because they have to make a decision on whether they need to get rid of Yuzong or they want to keep it up for later, and the same goes for Esmeralda here. But if Esmeralda goes through, I think there is a potential likelihood that RRQ could be able to pick up Claude, and they performed really well on Claude. But Bren, they've been absolutely trying to shut down Sin and put him onto, and force him actually onto the assassin.
And another important point to note is that you really want Whiskin to be pretty much in your face, and that's definitely not working out from the past game at all. Like, the impact was very close to none, and now they're taking out the Yuzong just to try to negate a little bit of both what they did back in the previous game.
Probably an Esmeralda, Bren Esports.
I mean, they're sniffing something. They're like, Esmeralda, this can't be it. This is a little too good to be true.
Low-hanging fruit. It's so easy, and yeah, they do avoid it. They skirt it. They go ahead and pick up the Claude. And again, I think this is smart. One is you don't fall for the easy trap. Like Esmeralda, I think RRQ Hoshi was expecting it. And yes, Sin is so good on marksman type heroes. This is 2 birds with 1 stone. Give it to Carl.
Yeah, but this just means that RRQ, again, Sin might have to bite the bullet one more time for his team, locking in the Matilda as well as the Esmeralda. At least RRQ, we've seen them perform on this against the Burmese Ghouls. And again, whoever got Esmeralda, it was kind of like a 50-50. It's like, oh, you can see where it looks super overpowered, but at the end of the day, didn't exactly get to that point where they could start carrying.
Yeah, and speaking of which, you know, in towards phase 1, I'm expecting to see a Boxia because they honestly have no answer to it even up till now. Like, yeah, you can definitely go in with this Falling Star Moon, just if he's going to be moving all the way in towards your frontliners, that's definitely going to be opening a lot of opportunities, especially with also the Cho being picked up by Bren Esports.
My, oh my, this is the trusty, lusty Cho. Ever since unlocking his potential yesterday, I've perished all doubts. Like, I used to think, like, oh, it's so bad, it's so hard to use, but now I think Lusty got his mojo back.
Yeah, and clearly seeing that they have an Esmeralda on the side of RQ Hoshi, there are people who are gonna go for the split. So with that in mind, Bren Esports just go straight for the Cho, and a lot of thoughts that might have come out from Ducky there, but this is a good hero for Lusty, given that the requirements and setup is right.
Yeah, and I think, Eudora here coming out for the side of RRQ Hoshi, and I think they want to just kind of compensate for the fact that she lacks that mobility with the help of Matilda to kind of follow up on, oh, you get a little bit of harass and all of a sudden, 1-2, zip and stun, and you're gone.
I hate to jump the gun here, but the last time we saw this many mages in a single lineup was when there was no tank, right? There was no tank. I'm wondering if RRQ Hoshi is so bold to do that.
I was just about to point it out, like, I told you so much about the boxer, and he's just having a big grin, like, you're giving him what he wants, and he definitely could soak it, unless if they have a picture to really say, oh, I am going to be someone you can't ignore, and my mages can actually do the things that they want to, keeping the boxer occupied, and this is where more and more of all these bans are coming right through with the 1-1 first, so are they gonna go in for another assassin for the side of RQ?
Yeah, Roger is a good ban. I was thinking that maybe RQ Hoshi is planning to go for the Roger just because this is a dive heavy composition, the Esmeralda and the Matilda.
And it's a Sin choke out too.
Yeah.
Sin has no options. Very few.
I'm thinking maybe there are more that he could go for, but it won't be as good in the current meta, the tournament meta that we have right now. RQ Hoshi, I think Sin is gonna be forced to play a Ling, probably.
Potentially.
But Bren still has a ban.
I would agree that, you know, Bren could shut down this Link almost straight away and force RRQ into something that takes even longer and doesn't exactly spike as nicely with the mages, and that could just be putting him on something like a Hayabusa here. But they don't ban out the Link, they get rid of the Khalid instead.
I really like that most of these games, they are actually removing the Khalid. They understand that it is really absolutely tough to take down the Khalid. Not to say that he's ultra tanky, but his sustainability is just as bad as you compare it facing off against that Esmeralda.
I mean, there's a lot of speculation that could be one way. That could be one way here. But RRQ, considering that the style that they played so far, they could look to set up Harley, and it's not like we haven't seen this huge mage composition before. We saw it in the group stages against EVOS SG, and we're able to kind of defend against it. But instead, they're gonna go with the Belleric here, and hoping that might just be enough to stop Claude in his tracks.
Okay, so there's a tank. We were looking for one. No Lemon, but we'll see how this ends up on RQ Hoshi's lineup this time.
Wait,
Butters, light bulb moment.
We've seen this. This could be a Bruno setup for RQ Hoshi.
Oh,
we've seen
another version of it.
No, it's almost the carbon copy, the exact same thing. They've got the components there as well, but Bren, they lock in the Farsa as well as the Sylvana, which was, I was thinking of something, but I think Butters might be onto something here.
Yeah. Could it be a Bruno? Because that's the only thing that RQ played in terms of the marksman jungle that worked.
Give it to Sin, give it to Sin. It's the only one left too, if that is what they're trying to go for, if not the Harley.
There's a few concerns that I have here, especially with Sin and Whisking on board. you can honestly see that the tempo that they are playing at is not exactly the same like how Lemon as well as Albert has been performing throughout the entirety of the runs on the upper bracket. And instead, our answers
they go
will
for
be delivered by the carry here instead of the Bruno that has been speculated. But, you know, Bren Esports still having something that we've been seeing for the past few games, which is honestly looking real good.
All right, my question is, while it's hot, while it's here, is this a better choice than the Bruno? Because if you're going for marksman, you better go for the one that works. You better go for the one that is right for the situation, and carry seems so vulnerable.
I would agree in most cases, and Bruno, yes, I would argue that Bruno is even more susceptible and more volatile in comparison to the carry because his win conditions are super early and super late. There is no middle ground to that without a snowball going.
Yeah. For the carry, there's some leeway to actually just go down once or twice, and you can, if you do have a good early game, you might be popping off by the time that you reach mid-game. And that's how the carry works.
All right, well, given this unorthodox draft by RRQ Hoshi, everything lays on the line. Ladies and gentlemen, this is game number 4. Bren Esports looking for the elimination onto the King of Kings, RRQ Hoshi. Gentlemen, let's get it.
The King of Kings here is definitely putting a lot of high stakes on this carry in hopes that if she could get really ahead, that Baxia may not be a problem in the late game phase where you can just kite them out itself. So I'm definitely getting where exactly they're going for instead of the Bruno that you did mention might not be the best of choices.
Yeah, and again, your pick, your mention of oh wait, hold on, this might be a bit of an engagement. Cartesi going up forward really aggressively. The Cosmic Lance already landing, third hit of G could no, and all of a sudden, Psycho, who isn't level 2, who really needed to be level 2 there to save their Eudora, R7 trying to salvage the situation, but back to mid.
Lusty and the crew, they were fast on their fingers just to punish that risky play from Vin. Vin tried to steal the purple buff. It didn't work.
It's not the greatest of plays here, but it doesn't mean RRQ is out just yet. The First Bloods usually don't mean too much as long as you don't get to translate into anything in Bren. No buffs, no steals, no wave clears, no invades as well. So technically, it's still just, you know, slightly ahead.
Yeah. And it all depends on who we see gets his first item. There's this first item power spike that we're talking about when it comes to a carry or a Claude.
And speaking of which, we're already seeing a lot of invades coming from the side of RRQ, while Lusty is trying to play that in-your-face chill, and definitely not the bush that he wants to move in for, but Whiz-King trying to go for a catch.
He misses the Wrath of the Dryads, and that would have been a really nice catch if he was able to land that. But at least they buy a little bit of pressure to get this turtle. But can Bren capitalize on this here? You can see a lot of their members rotating fast, and not to mention Baxia is coming in hot.
And this is a way to just catch Psycho and the others. They wanted to stop the effectiveness of this Baxia, but there's a fight happening right now. Look at this. Psycho gets caught out, and Sin and the others are just forced to go back. They can't do anything. They can't punish.
I'm not sure why exactly that Psycho went back in, because none of these members are actually responding towards this, and very obviously that was a miscommunication.
Yeah, it just seems like there was a little bit of disconnect there for the entire team of RQ. Were they sure they were going in? Were they unsure they were going in? They had to make that decision, and they have to make it fast.
They just got caught out, and a few won't be holding back on the trigger of his Imperial Justice.
Yeah, I mean, right now Bren is just playing a little bit more in sync in comparison to RRQ, but RRQ, they don't have, you know, they're not so in the dumps in terms of their economy. They're still relatively even for the most part of it. 8K to 7.3K. It's only going to be a 6 to 700 differential overall. And Sin, he's going to need to start quickly ramping up into this game. He needs to at least get the Demon Hunter Sword into Golden Staff to make sure that Flapteezy, Flapteezy on this Baxia a little more ineffective.
Yeah, I definitely gotta say that this Kaltizi is ramping up way faster in that sort of sense as compared to Sin at the moment. But Flapteezy, now that RQ Hoshi has already known what to expect coming from the Purist game, he's going to be facing off against R7 at the moment. This is honestly not going to be going all too much anywhere, but eyes are on that river right now because Matilda is looking for a setup.
Psycho and Few will meet each other in the brush. But I don't think RRQ Hoshi would just be initiating on a Sylvana support right now. There is a lot of things that they have to consider, and they have to bring Sin to the point where he gets the endless battle, Raptor Machete and endless battle, then just go from there.
Yeah, and it's important, and I think, you know, they have to itemize correctly for the side of RRQ. We see the Talisman already being purchased on R7, but this is going to be the fight that we're looking for. Psycho going to get hit by Flapteezy initially, but a shield box here. As Whisking, he is on this side dealing with Few with no problems, but the rest of RRQ, they're looking for the disengage. 3-man hit from the G-Kun. No, Way of the Dragon as well. Not going to be enough as they are able to get the damage from Rebo's Feathered Airstrike, but now they're going to call it off. They trade 1 for 1. Can they get one more? Whisking finally goes down. As you can see, Kartizi, he's very comfortable in his position, and RRQ forced to back away.
Definitely unfavorable for RRQ Hoshi. Not only will they eventually lose out on this turtle, just look at the picks. They've managed to annihilate all these key components, and Finn, once again, get caught out. And, well, just Bren Esports knowing what exactly to do, and just like how they do best. All the turtles in priority.
R7 going to take the full brunt of damage from the Blazing Duet. Doesn't look like he was able to stack up his Art of Thievery to maximum before coming in. But, you know, R7, he just laughs. Aha! Go back into lane. Let's see what else is there to happen.
But Flap, on the other hand, gets gone out, and that's going to be a lot of ultimates getting thrown into him. Flapteezy!
Oh.
Will he still escape that? No, he won't. But look at the commit. Resources, skills, all the damage that was thrown out. How tanky is that Baksha?
Yeah, literally 4 ultimates came out of them.
Oh, I'm just watching that. If he's just going to be popping that rejuvenation, he can definitely last for days. And now, here comes another little bit of the tussle here. And mind you, they expend everything just to get one.
Well, at least they didn't get anything in return. Wait a minute, Lusty trying to make the big play here. Unfortunately, he doesn't actually hit it. Good preemptive attack coming in from RRQ, but Kartizi coming in pretty on hot. Doesn't get too much damage from his Blazing Duet. Not a lot of value. Bren need to start pulling back away, but this is RRQ to look for that re-engage. They're getting a little antsy as they move closer towards their jungle. They just don't know where the rest of the team is yet.
Yeah, and of course, this is going to be very vital for them to just cut in all these spellbands, but Sin gets caught out in the mid side. Bren looking all too hot. He's going for Finn as well. Just look at Kartizi. He's already 3-0.
He is very happy with the amount of damage he's had there. Even diving, Kartizi, he's going in hard with the help of Flapteezy to enable him to go under the turret. Way of the Dragon onto Whisking here as they try to secure this up. Rather, the Dryad isn't enough. Kartizi only losing 50% of his HP to take it out. What great play coming in from Bren to ensure this dive is successful.
Now, RRQ Hoshi, they still have a chance to get back at this. They need to find the opening. They need to find a breather. But Carl is just going wild. This is the confidence that we're talking about. Gidgeon and Contra.
Speaking of confidence, you know, they might just be the Indonesia Slayers here because they've already taken down Alter Ego, and now they are finding every single way to punish RRQ Hoshi.
A true test of might, but not only that, Bren, it feels like they have a lot of momentum riding behind them with a lot of their moves. It is very concise, it is very clean compared to their first 2 games where you can definitely see that there were a couple of misplays here and there, but overall, Bren just making the right decisions each and every time.
You won't hold back on just using the Imperial Justice. He knows that he has a low cooldown time just because of the pull yourself together. He's not gonna try and conserve that as much as possible. He knows that if you catch one's ear, he is able to get a kill as well.
Speaking of getting a kill here, it's gonna be Finn there in this Blazing Duet on towards RRQ, but they're putting them back as they manage to get the catch on towards Kartizi as well as Lusty. Flapteezy eventually will fall, but look how much it's taking out of them to get this pick. Few walks away alive, but there's still Ribble at the back. Better airstrike gets one, and the Eudora goes down again.
great return kills coming in from Bren's side. They lose 3 out of great execution from RRQ. A great mechanical play, especially using the Circular Eagle to make sure that Kaltizi, Blazing Duet, I'm just going to circle around you till it's done.
This is one of the things that I'm telling you about RRQ, Hoshi. They can find these little openings and they can punish Bren Esports. Now, Bren Esports, they might have the lead now, but they should be careful into picking their plays. There are times where you can get to, let's say you can be overconfident, just go at him and just lose Kaltizi in the process. Item check is up right now. That is going to be Demon Hunter Sword, the Golden Staff, Rebo with the Clock of Destiny, Winter Truncheon, Lightning Truncheon rather. Few is with the Necklace of Durans. Onto the other side here, Cursed Helmet on Wiz King, Bruce Force Breastplate on R7.
Oh, there goes the fight.
Oh, they're already going to begin. Again, Circle Eagle starting off, but R7 is going to get absolutely destroyed by this Blazing Duet coming in for a fully stacked Kaltizi here. Unfortunately, he goes backwards with Batman Image, so he can't get into the fight, but they do find another one. They're looking for the pincer. Flamtizi coming in, turn twice, Poisons as well. They've cut them out. Bren looking to cut them off as Whisking, trying to slow down the damage. Now Sin needs to turn this around. He's got the items finally, but unfortunately, it ain't going to be enough. His range is just a little too short.
Oh my goodness. Well played from Bren. Like, they saw opportunity and they took it right there, especially with RQ all stuck in that choke point. At first, they pick out R7 and Whisking was all the way out of that fight already, and he joins way too late.
Sin is trying his best to just control this game. You know what? He wants to get the farm. He really just wants to carry. But the thing is, Bren Esports has just a lot of control. The back is just controlling them way too much, and the Joe
Psycho
gets the pick off.
Gets hit by way of the dragon. Sin next to fall. No, that's the worst person that wanted to die for the side of RRQ, and now R7 is on the run. They've already taken out Eudora as well. The cop is falling apart as Bren allowing them to say, hey, make a mistake, face check me, I won't let you get away.
This is definitely very punishing because this might just costed them this final run right on the lower brackets. They're already pummeling down the base. That timer is already up. Psycho is going to be coming out of the base, but Bren, they can easily go on for this Lord.
Bren now clearing the side waves first. They're trying to punish, trying to take away the economy again, and RRQ are realizing they are on a ticking clock here. They don't have a lot to work with. They're running out of resources on top of everything else, but can Bren close out this game here?
The Lord is now their target, and that's what they aim for. They get the extra help from the Lord. They know that they need to be safe at threading this game-ending play that they're gonna do. There are still outer turrets onto the top lane, Gideon, Contra, and as you can see, Bren Esports knows that this is only the level 1 Lord, not the Luminous Lord.
Level 1 Lord or not, I mean, Bren wants to take this advantage and just really press down on the advantage even harder. And if this doesn't go well, at least at the worst, RRQ go even with Bren and it starts all over once more. But if Bren get ahead, they end the game and they take this series and they go to the grand finals.
And now it's really relying on Sin so much that a lot of all these Athena shields have already been purchased. There's going to be more magic resistance coming in towards this late phase. Yep, they're going to be clearing off the Lord over the mid side, but Bren going for the dive!
Oh, it's going really hard. They already get bit in the process. R7 is now pulling on back. He wants to go back into the base to get some help. But Sin, he's locked down in the Imperial Justice. But can they peel him up? Finally, Whisking is in position to do so. They lose 2 inhibitor turrets at the same time here. But Bren, they're going for the end. This is it. Bren trying to pull on forward. RQ clearing the waves as much as they can. But they're throwing their bodies as soon as they do. Lusty, he's done it. He's brought more glory. Welcome to the grand finals, Bren Esports.
This is the first time that Indonesia is out of the grand finals. Bren Esports, Burmese schools, get yourselves ready for that best of 7.
If that's not a statement for one.
What a new age the Indonesians have to step down. Contra, you were saying, you were asking a question?
This is history in the making. We are definitely seeing this trophy going onto a new nation. And wow.
Confirmed, at least.
At least, you can't see this right now, but Ducky's off-screen jumping up and down. He is so proud of his boys, and I can only understand and relate and sympathize with the feeling here because, oh my goodness, we've been talking about, you know, Indonesia being the teams, the region to beat. They've been such a powerhouse, but look at that score, 3-1 in favor of Bren, taking the series, going to the grand finals, and I think this is the time we can say that the gap has finally closed.
A hero's journey Bren Esports has been on ever since dropping from the upper bracket, fighting their way through the lower bracket, fighting tooth and nail against the likes of Alter Ego, Todak, and now RRQ, Hoshi. Again, let this sink in. There are no more Indonesians in M2.
It's so hard for me to swallow, which is why, like, I was trying to get my words out there. It's like, wow, the Indonesian fans obviously being very upset because both of them lost to this very on-form Bren Esports side, and they still could not break through about what exactly is the answer to take down Bren Esports.
They got their vengeance. They got their revenge for Omega. Omega was beaten by RRQ, then was eliminated by Alter Ego, and they went straight for Bren Esports went for Alter Ego and RRQ, and Bren eliminated them both.
All right, well, with this series in the bag, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to have to ask for the help of our analysts. LaFell and Wolf are going to be breaking it down. Let's go. Just pack up the 4 games.
Thank you to all of the casters. Yes, there we have it. Going to the grand finals is Bren Esports. And again, like, that is crazy. My name is LaFell. This is LaFell TZ and Wolf TZ. Like, Wolf.
My God. I am lost for words, actually, because of the fact that Bren Esports played this cleanly in a way. You know what? A lot of people will look at this match and say, okay, Bren Esports made some mistakes in there, but I want to say this is like a clean look at it. Now, this is also off of some victories that they did in the entire series. I think that Bren Esports also addressed whatever the mistakes they did in game number 1, and they made it so that their game number 4 was outstanding.
Exactly, and the thing is, this is the King of Kings. And right now, the king is dead. Long live the king. The thing is, right now, like, throughout the entire series, the Philippine fans, the Indonesian fans, and as well as I feel the Myanmar fans as well as watching. So because a lot of Filipinos have been spamming for a shout out, so I'm just gonna say shout out to the Philippines. Congratulations. Right now, Myanmar and Philippines are fighting for the #1 spot. They want to be the best region in the world in terms of Mobile Legends. And right now, for the first time, Indonesia is #3.
Yeah. Whew. That is actually kind of a new thing, right?
Yeah, right?
Mobile Legends. The end of 2020's season, which will be capped by the M2 World Championship, means that Indonesia will not be part of there. Now, I want to say, looking at the highlights, this is the most important question. We can actually pause right now, because this is RRQ's this is the cue for RRQ to actually fight. However, they still lost. Now, do take note that in this clash, RRQ Hoshi decided to go for this part of the map, which is very surprising for Bren Esports. They kind of want to take the turtle. Look at the timing. It's 4 minutes in. Bren Esports, they do have immense amount of strength. Flap TZ as well as a few, they kind of want to fight at this point around the turtle area. So RRQ Hoshi, whatever they did was actually very smart. Actually camping in this particular bush in the middle, and they were able to get the pick off. However, they still will not be taking the most victories, because I think that Carl TZ, he's just so, I'll say this, he knows his limits, and he's so
good.
It's just so good. No, he's very mobile. He cannot be caught. He's
now
slippery, I would say. This is the word.
Yep. Now, while you are explaining as well, I would like to say the draft. Both of these teams are actually playing it very, very smart. Where RRQ Hoshi, they were trying to bait out the Claude and trying to counter it with the Eudora and betting out the 1-1 as well to make sure that they don't have a double marksman setup in the chance that, okay, he comes in with the Blazing Duet and then Eudora's just going to burst him down. But the thing is, we can see Carl TZ has been playing
pause here, actually.
so good. And yeah, take it away.
we can pause here because this is also very important when it comes to the timing. Well, there's really not much that you can see when it comes to the actual play, but this is also the point where Carl TZ was able to get 2 items. So he first went for the Raptor Machete, which is natural, and then went in for the Demon Hunter Sword. This allowed him to actually deal the damage. And now the biggest problem that I have with RRQ Hoshi, this is why I'm highlighting this actually, because I think that this is smart. Looking at the mini map, members of RRQ Hoshi, 4 of them are there, but where is the Belleric? This is your answer to the Claw. This was drafted by RRQ Hoshi quite late in the draft just to kind of deal with the physical damage output. And you know what? It makes a lot of sense, right? Because it can build up the blade armor.
Exactly.
It can return the damage.
Yeah, and in this best of 5 series as well, as we know, when we're playing a best of 5, it's going to be a very, very long series, and the mental fortitude, that is what you need in order to survive. But the thing is, just like what you pointed out with the Belleric, I think we can point out on other players from the side of RQ as well, where they made mistakes, where they made the initiation where they don't have to initiate, where their positioning is a little bit off, where throughout this game, I still remember that there are points where Zin got caught out, when Psycho went a little bit too deep and Whisking was missing.
And that is actually what happened. What exactly happened. R7 will not be able to help his teammate. Look at this. The last circle that I'll draw. This is the time where the Demon Hunter Sword was picked up. And by this point, 6 minutes into the game, Carti's 3-0-3 with the Demon Hunter Sword. No one can tank through that, because if you're looking at both at R7, Whisking, and Psycho, they cannot outlast the damage out from Bren Esports anymore.
Yeah, and the thing is, right now, Bren Esports, they are on fire. They are playing very, very well. And the thing is, not just mechanically, but also in terms of their macro, the way that they move around the map. I really like how Flap Easy with this Boxia pick, not only... And I would like to pause over here as well. And Wolf, you can do this. But basically, what I don't like in this sort of situation, Bren Esports probably made the Filipinos worry, because that was a mistake that they really did not have to do, because they know that most of the RRQ members are around there. They should not have gone in. It was a little bit of a out of position situation where they're like, I can probably take this. I can 2v4. But in that situation, look at the Farsa, look at the Boxia. They should have waited for the Boxia to come in. Farsa and Boxia, both these heroes, they put on the side lane, they're very, very fast. They are very mobile. Farsa with the wings by wings. They could have came in. All they had to do was wait. So the question is, why didn't they wait? And sure, this series is over, but they are going up against Burmese schools. They cannot make this kind of mistake.
No, I kind of agree with you, because this is the point where Bren Esports should be just dominating the map. They cannot afford a late game situation where RRQ Hoshi can thrive with this carry. But you know what? The recovery was good from Bren Esports. They eventually just look toward this game and just make all of those better decisions, like Carl TZ peeling through the back lines, then getting it back into the middle, and now they are going to chase. And this is so important for Bren Esports. They will be able to get a triple kill for Carl TZ, because RRQ Hoshi, they were already peeled up. And Whisking, again, man, is late to the party. Unfortunately, he is needed. He's a requirement in this game.
Yep, and in that situation, you guys just saw Psycho went in. I understand that he wanted to open the map. He wanted to see where everyone is. But the thing is, it was not safe for him to do so, because he went in with the second skill and there's no way for him to get out. If only it was a box, if it was an Esmeralda, it would have been fine.
And look at this. The full HP on Wizkick. You don't want that to happen in your Belleric. He should be the one tacking up. And man, RRQ Hoshi, they're playing like they don't know how to play this Belleric. And that's so unfortunate, because you know what? The games that RRQ Hoshi won with Wizking, with the Belleric.
Yeah, it was on Lemon. Yeah, Lemon, exactly. And yeah, that is the game where we can definitely see a lot of outplays from the side of Bren. But the thing is, Bren as well has made some mistakes. And as you say, Bren gets better with more games in the best of 7. I can't predict who will win.
It's gonna be difficult, honestly, but then again, I was able to talk to some of the members of Bren Esports, and they're quite confident. The way that Burmese schools won 2-0 against the Filipino squads, they kind of learned what they needed to do. And in a way, RRQ Hoshi revealed some of the playstyles, some of the approaches, and the ideas, the approach of Burmese schools in the meta game. And they kind of told me that they will just straight up ban at the DK, which I accept.
Yeah, and right now we will be looking at the itemization of both of these teams to see what items they built on their basic heroes. And over here we can definitely see, I want to look at Matilda first. No wonder she went in hard. She had all this, I would say, defensive items. But the thing is, it's not enough. Look at Claude. He has the Demon Hunter Sword. He has
full packed, man.
He has the Golden Staff as well as the Sea Halberd. So any kind of, I would say, sustainability from the Esmeralda or the Belleric is really not going to help.
Do take note that the Durance was picked up by Few as well on the Sylvana because he knows that he doesn't need to tank up so much. There's really not much damage coming out from RRQ.
And there's the Tank Cho, there's a Tank Baxia. Like, you don't need all that tankiness.
And I like the Athena Shield picked up by the members of Bren Esports, allowing them to tank through all the magic damage at the start. Matilda, unfortunately, with the Dominance Ice, he cannot... well, in a way, you will be able to tank up the Claude, but that's only when they are ahead. Unfortunately, the gold is heavily towards in the favor of Bren Esports. 10,000 gold and the damage is just massive.
I like that you point out the Dominance Ice because it is a very good item to semi-shut down the Claude for the basic attack damage as well as Esmeralda and Belleric. But right now, let's look at the stats of the game where the rich guy as well as the carry are Carl TZ, Sandbag Flap TZ, Forgotten One Flap TZ, looks like LaFell TZ, and the TZ brothers are doing very good this game.
Yeah, the TZ brothers.
The TZ brothers.
And their third brother, LaFell TZ.
Yeah, I'm not good enough to be a player, but hey, as an analyst, not bad.
No, you're the eldest brother, so you kind of... did you accept that you're the
Yes,
eldest
I'm the eldest
because
brother.
Because you frowned, man. I thought that you don't like it.
No, it was... anyways, let's look at Claude. Look at the amount of damage that he does compared to his team, as well as RRQ Hoshi Zin on the carry. Both of these carry players, we can definitely see that they tried their best. They tried to do everything that they can to win the game, and both of these guys have the same mentality. However, we just saw that Flap TZ, being the Sandman, being the Forgotten One, he is a very, very good front line, following wherever the Claude is and making sure that he tanks whatever he has to tank, and then giving the chance for him to survive.
The very important factor here is that the average, KDA for all the members of Bren Esports is about 6, and for Arkeoshi, it didn't even reach 2, which is really bad. And for the nth time today, Carl TZ 12-1-6 this time with the Claude really showing up, and I think that he is really showcasing himself. He wants to be the best player in the world, and he's on his way.
Carl TZ. In the group stages, he managed to get a Savage. Today, almost got the Savage as well. He has been one of the best carries in the entire, I would say, M2 tournament. But the thing is, he is going up with the other best carry in the tournament, Ace. Now, both of these players, I have no doubts that whoever wins has a better priority to have that MVP of M2. It's either Carl TZ or Ace.
Yeah, the Ace, I think I heard one of the casters say he's the Burmese Python.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be
I don't know what that means, but okay.
Well, he's probably like a very sneaky snake that can be the one to defeat Bren Esports easily, or will it be the child prodigy just getting whatever he deserves? Actually, he's been waiting for this for the longest time, and I think that we will have a chance.
Yeah. Speaking of the prodigy, I can see on stage that our host as well as Bren is ready. So let's go for the interview. Host, take it away.
All right, you heard from the analyst. Now it's time to hear from the best fencer in M2, the Lancelot Pro himself, Carl TZ. My man, it was a hard fight. Fighting in the lower bracket, you guys are finally here. You put the last Indonesian final boss down. It's time to face Burmese Ghouls in that grand final. First off, I want to ask you about that series that just happened. First game, you guys picked Lancelot and you guys got defeated. How did that happen?
Yung first game parang ano lang eh. Parang tinek lang namin kung ano yung mga lineup nila. Di talaga kami masyadong parang di kami nanggigil masyado. Hinayaan lang namin laruin yung laro nila tapos inaral namin. Yun.
So our strategy for game 1 before we went over to the stage was to gauge them on game 1. So it was just chill for us. We were just trying to see what they have up their sleeves. So yeah.
Okay, all right. So it was just a testing game for you guys, see what they had, and obviously it worked out. You guys won the round 3-1. Now we're moving forward into that grand finals later on tonight against Burmese Goals, and they have been a superpower so far. And well, it's going to be a tough match. You guys lost to them in that upper bracket. It's revenge time. You know, the last time they 0-2 you guys, but now what kind of strategy do you have moving forward to deal with them?
Ang strategy namin, secret na lang. Basta dudurugin namin sila.
Our strategy would be a secret. So what I can promise is that we'll beat them.
Okay, only promise to the fans they'll beat them. Well, okay, next up, I want to ask you something a little bit personal. What would winning M2 mean to you personally, Kaltizi?
Sobrang saya kasi bata pa lang ako. Simula pagpasok ko dito sa pro scene, gusto ko na maging mid laner ng mundo.
So I'm really happy that I'm on the stage right now, and this would mean that if we win M2, I would be the best in the world.
Best in the world, indeed. That is going to be a common thread with all these champions that have fought on this stage. And now, I think we're going to do that whole cheer with Bren, the Bren Esports cheer. You guys taught me that. Bren Lang Malakas, on the count of 3, we're going to shout that to the camera. And then, of course, we're going to send you down to get ready for that grand final. All right, on the count of 3, 2, 1. Bren Lang Malakas! All right, guys. Thank you so much, Kaltizi. Thank you, Coach. We are going to wrap it up in just a few moments because we have to make some preparations for that upcoming grand final. And of course, I'll be rejoined by Mr. Joakim Gomez. What's up, my friend?
Coming up here as we speak, I cannot wait for 6 p.m., Lysander. Can you imagine this? The entire nation of the Philippines, the entire nation of Myanmar coming together to cheer for their favorite team. Now, in case you want to know what the timings are in your respective countries, we're going to be flashing it up in the screen in just a while.
All right. You guys see it on screen right now?
There you go. Of course, we kick things off 6 p.m. Singapore time, and only because it's a Myanmar-Philippines final. I want to say Chezu Dimbade to my Burmese fans and also to the Philippines. Salamat. Thank you so much for joining us for M2 World Championships. Lysander.